Today is Saturday, October 7th, 2017. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the Listener Feedback Show for Episode 2 of Survivor Season 35.
That's right. We call this the LFS, the Listener Feedback Show. That's why when I named the files, I append them with LF on there. For our normal files, with our recap shows, it's just SFP, Survivor Fans Podcast, the year, the month, and the day.
Okay.
The only time we do multiple shows in a day or when we have to do multiple interviews, and then I append the interviewee's name with the first and last name.
Oh, that's why you put the name on
together.
There. Because we don't do that all season, but you do that for the multiple interviews at the finale.
Yeah, sometimes we'll have a double vote off.
Okay.
Yeah, in the early season before the finale. But yes, that's how I do that. And since we had someone comment on acronyms, I'm covering some acronyms in the intro.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is really about hearing from the other super fans. This is our listener feedback show. We do the recap on Wednesday. We've got an interview that we put out on Thursday. And then we turn the show over to you guys. How many folks do we have this week?
19.
19 Survivor super fans. Are so interested, well, I was going to say enjoy it so much, but not everybody's enjoying it. So we're going to hear from a spectrum of folks.
Sounds good to me.
Because I'm sure there are other folks that aren't enjoying it quite as much as we are.
I like others' opinions.
Yeah, it gives you a different filter, different prism on the world. So we don't always agree with each other, but we can certainly learn and understand each other better by sharing our viewpoints.
True.
And we're accepting of that. So, without further ado, let's kick it off and see what Pete thought about Episode 2. I'm guessing there's a woohoo in here. What do you think?
Maybe.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here, and I'm going to let out a great big woo! Yeah, this was a very good episode for Survivor Healers, Heroes, and Hustlers, Episode 2. So let's get into it. Let me get into the heroes first. You gotta love Chrissy. She's an underdog, but at the same time, she's a gamer. And I love that she was trying to fit back in with each member of her group. And I love that her and Ben are working together. That could be a dominant alliance there. And I don't know, I think I'm worried about Ashley, Allen, and JP, but that was good. And then with the healers, again, I love Mike. Mike is just great. And I like Joe. I love that he's playing aggressive, but that was a terrible move with Cole asking for help for the idol. Hey, kudos, he found that he has the idol. But see now, based on the preview, Cole is going to tell Jessica that he has it. And somehow I think that's going to come back to burn him. Let's wait and see. Or it could be a misdirect. And then as far as the hustlers go, man, Simone, why did you sign up for the show? I didn't like all the whining and the baby talk about she didn't like the heat. That drove me nuts. I honestly thought she was going to quit Stacy. What do you think? And then just had insult to injury. She couldn't even solve that puzzle there either. Why bother? But still, I got to say the truth. I really thought Allie, Ryan, and Lauren and Devin were going to end up voting for the gingerbread man there, Patrick. Because, man, that guy is just goofy, snarky, ridiculous. Man, he just driving me nuts. He's a character, but no strategy. Honestly, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a goat at the end there. No one would vote for him in the end right now. I mean, it's way too early to say that. Who knows? But he is a beast in challenges, so you got to give him that. And I like Allie. Too bad for Simone, but I wasn't that shocked. But it was a great tribal. It would have been some if Patrick was voted out. So let's see, guys. Let's see if maybe someone from the Healers and Heroes is looking for the item. And wow, what will Patrick do to survive now for next week? Let's see if it's a wake-up call. But I can't wait for the next episode, guys. Take care. Woo!
All right. Thanks, Pete. Energetic as always. Do I think Simone was close to quitting? No, I didn't get any indication that she was going to quit. From the interview, which is challenging for some folks, I can tell based on the comments on the Facebook page.
In part my fault, because I told you to not edit a lot of that out. Mm-hmm. And just leave it, because that's so much a part of who she is, and it would have taken you forever. and I know how much it drives you nuts. Mm-hmm. It didn't bother me as much, but you have to sit and go over and over and over and over and over to edit things like that out. And you do it for all of us all the time, because I know you'll be like, oh, geez, you were on the train tonight, or something. And so Stacy does a lot of work to make us all sound better. And he didn't do that today. But I really just felt like that's just a part of her. And so we just got to see who she was.
My takeaway was I would really probably want to get rid of her too if I had to listen to that particular speech pattern the whole time. I would, even over Goofy Patrick. It made it plausible, their choice, where I could understand even easier, just because, hey, that's the way of life. I'm certain, absolutely positive, that my voice annoys some people, because there's someone out there that your voice annoys. That's just how things work. They don't want to hear you talking.
Someone.
Yeah, exactly. No matter who you are. No matter what you sound like, for someone, it's annoying for a reason that you don't understand.
Or if anyone's speaking at all, sometimes it's just annoying.
Right. Sometimes you don't want to hear anything.
Especially if you got a headache.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Or you're struggling in some way or fashion and dealing with stress.
I can kind of tune that out. And so I was interested in some of the little insights that she did have. And so it didn't
you got a
me.
better sense of the challenges and the fears that she was struggling with, and we're gonna circle back on this multiple times through the show today.
Was doing during the night and stuff like that too. It's like, oh
yeah, how even worse
seriously?
It was than what they shared with us. Yeah,
and so I didn't mind it for that reason, but we were listening on a speakerphone, not a headset. Mm-hmm. And you have to edit through a headset, so it makes a difference.
Well, and we're focused on the questions and just working the interview, the process, and all that.
I just tune all the likes out, and
yeah, I don't think so. Did you, okay, be honest. Did you go back and listen to the whole thing?
I never do.
Sometimes you do. That's not true.
Well,
there's some people that you're enamored with after we're done with the interview. And you listen to every single word.
I didn't hear. Well, that's if we were doing something or we had a glitch, something's going on, and my focus didn't get to stay. It was like, we had to scramble. They answered this. Let's do it. And where am I going next kind of thing. And you didn't hear all of what they said. Then I do go back and listen. But usually I spot check just to make sure the sound quality is okay and downloads on iTunes. But anyway, we're off the course. Nobody cares about this.
So you didn't subject yourself to it, is my point.
But I don't even like to re-listen to my own voice.
The takeaway, and like I said, we'll circle back on this multiple times, I think, through the course of the listener feedback show today, is if you ideally were to want to figure out what was going on there, I think it comes down to a casting thing. So we're going to get some different takes on it. People come at it from different perspectives.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Let's move on. I'm with Pete, though. On the whole, the episode really was working for me. Next up, we got an email from Tina in Virginia. Hi, Joanne and Stacy. It's good to have you both in my life again and to listen to the other fans' feedback. I'm getting ready for a 12-hour drive from Virginia to Tennessee, and your podcasts make my long drives more enjoyable. The fall season is arriving in the U.S., and the East Coast will have beautiful colors as the leaves change color and fall. I do like the cast of characters this season. When Ryan said Simone was weird, I had to take a double take, because if he, a slightly weird person, is saying Simone is weird, then I'm thinking she must really be weird. Simone stated there was no air conditioning on the beach and later said she did not like being outdoors. It reminded me when I took a small team to Bangladesh and one guy said he didn't like people and the other girl said she did not like hot weather. I was thinking, you volunteered to go to the most crowded and hottest country in the world, and when you get there, you're complaining about things you should know? Similarly, why did Simone go on Survivor if you don't like the outdoors, or at least have the sense to keep your disdain for the outdoors to yourself? I'm also concerned about the Fisher women's lack of tolerance for Patrick's personality. She seems too serious, and with these young folks, she needs to loosen up a bit. She's all business about the money and less about the experience. I hope she's able to bond well with other players and that they do not see her as too needy for the money and get rid of her for that reason. I love super cute Cole. What a smile that young kid has. Let's see if Joe/Tony will get the better of him. Hopefully this solid love does not blind him to the strategy needed to win Survivor. This episode showed all the couples that are being formed, and they all seemed interesting. As a slightly older lady, I have a bias in favor of Chrissy and Ben. That's all I have. All Survivor fans, take care. Thanks, Tina. Great feedback. Good job. Yeah, I wanted Jessica to rescue Cole from the mess that he made with Joe, but you and I were chatting about this before we started recording here. It may not be in the cards.
I think she's just gone goo goo gaga.
I hope they're overplaying the whole showmance angle. I hope there's not another young couple who managed to get cast on Survivor that throw their game away for a showmance.
I don't know if they're going to throw their game away, but I do think they are both completely smitten. And because in her extra video clip, she was just
on and
teenage girl giggling.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, goodness, she's really into him. And I think he's really into her. So I don't know how much control they're going to be able to have because they're excited about meeting each other. So
I had no illusions about Cole. I didn't think he was, he wasn't going to bring a big intellectual strategic game to this season. Didn't expect that from him at all based on what we saw.
I did think Jessica might.
That's where I was going too. I thought she was there to have, but now I'm questioning my initial
She's the nurse
assessment.
Practitioner. I thought she would, and I
that
thought
takes some intellectual effort for sure.
She reminds me of someone who was matured young and kept their nose to the grindstone, got through school, did all of that stuff, and now who's going back to kind of recapture
You think she's making up for the lost time
years that you missed out on.
Oh, I hope that's not
did
the
that
case.
to some degree myself.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. We will see.
Interesting. Okay, thanks again, Tina. Next up, we got a call from Shea. Shea's back. Yay.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. It's me, Shea, calling from NWA, Northwest Arkansas. I did not call after the first episode, so this is my first opportunity to say how glad I am that not only the show is back on, but also this podcast. Since discovering it, my Survivor experience has been enhanced, which I didn't know was possible, but apparently it was. I also would like to start by saying how happy it makes me to hear that some of my fellow listeners who were ailing for one reason or another are now on the mend. I would also like to say welcome, welcome, welcome to our newest and tiniest little listeners. So to the show, I must say not enough time was given to us, or me at least, to get a good gauge on each player's personality, strengths, and or weaknesses. So I really don't have much to toss in the hat for the first show. The only two things that stood out to me were Alan and all that craziness and the fact that the Super Idol wasn't played. I said to my husband that she immediately was going next. My husband said that he thought it was smart because no one said she had to throw it away, so now she would be able to use it to make people think she had an idol, or even better, offer it to someone as a show of good faith, only for them to use it and it not be real. This, of course, would make everything quite messy, but don't we all love that part? As far as the second episode goes, I really loved the challenges, and I loved that we got to see a little more social interaction. I wasn't shocked by who was voted off, but I was shocked that Cole told Joe what the symbol on the map actually meant. If it had been me, I would have thanked Joe for sharing the information, blah, 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 and then go to the well when it was convenient and get the idol myself. I don't know how long this kid's been watching the show, but I've never seen helping someone else find an idol pay off in any big way. But maybe he knows something I don't. What I do know, though, is between the scenery and the multitude of people, beautiful people, in this cast this season, it's going to be easier to watch than usual. Once again, I'm very glad that the show is back on and that the podcast is as well. I'm not sure why I'm so comforted by the voices of all these strangers, starting with Pete and ending with Paul, but I am. So thank you, Joanne, thank you, Stacy, and thanks to all the other callers for helping me get through my work week. Go Survivor!
Oh, that was sweet, Shay. Thank you.
Excellent. Good job. And our podcast is enhanced by having you as a contributor. Thanks again, Shay. Next up, we got a call from Judy, who she knows people on the show.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy, this is Judy from San Diego. This is my first time giving feedback, and I've been challenged to do so more than once, and I'm a bit nervous. I always wait, never do, and so I'm just going to do it. Okay, first, happy birthday, Sarah Amazing, down in Jamul. With that, just a few things. Regarding Chrissy, another possible option, I think, for Chrissy's idol use may be to replant it for another survivor to find. I don't know if the note with it is, say, able to be altered, for instance, tearing off portions, but wouldn't that be fun to watch? It reminds me of another successful use of a fake idol at Tribal Council. I think it was Jay. I'm not good at remembering all the names from every season and the detail that some of you fans have, that extraordinary ability. I just don't. Jay didn't win, so. But anyways, I'm happy she's thinking outside the box. I'm not a huge fan of hers. I don't know why, but I'm not. But I'm just, like I said, I'm happy she's thinking outside the box for that idol use. Ben was a consideration for my USB, and now being privy to more information, I'm regretting that I instead picked Cole. I do really like Ben's play so far. Definitely more so than Cole's attraction to Jessica. I think that's her name, Jessica, right? Jay, the Jay that can swim, the female. Oh, anyways, I watched this week with closed captioning on through CBS All Access. I have to let you know I'm 30 years in the stenography field, and so I'm really familiar with the computer-aided transcription. I was greatly amused and laughed and then cringed when in the first 5 minutes there was an awful transcription of not Simone to Nazi moan. Really? That was appalling. I can only deduce that there was not a human captioner hired, but dragon speak or the like was used. I know off topic, but I had to share and defend my profession. As I said, it was amusing, funny, and then also cringeworthy. I'm traveling and not in my time zone, and I think I may be coming up to the 12 o'clock due time, and at this time I'd be past it. So let me just end with saying, Joanne and Stacy, thank you from another fan for all you do, and fellow fans, and especially the feedbackers, thank you also. Your insights and sharing is appreciated, and I always enjoy it. It's a really, really wonderful community that you've built and that you continue to nurture. I look forward to hearing everybody, and a shout-out up to Rhonda. All right, look forward to next week, and you all have a good weekend and week. Thanks. Bye.
Excellent. Good job, Judy. Way to go. I think you hit it out of the park on your first at-bat.
All right.
Next up, we got an email from Mrs. C in Louisiana.
Wow, just watched the second week of Survivor, and I really enjoyed it. I love all the scenes of Fiji. What a beautiful place. This season really has me captivated, and I love having an all-new cast. Mm-hmm. I wish I had picked Ben as my USB. That's a thing. After watching his CBS video clips this week, I was really impressed with him. He seems to be an all-around guy. He has it, shows it, but doesn't know it. I want to salute him every time I see one of his clips. So now the bad news. I picked Tony Joe to go this week.
Tony Joe. Okay.
Where was my head? Certainly not on my shoulders. Not only did this tribe not lose, but he found an idol. I did the same thing. I had picked Simone to go on week 1. I just knew she wouldn't last, so why didn't I just stay with that? Truly, the Hustlers are the weaker tribe, but I got fooled by the first episode. Silly me. I didn't like Allie at first, but I'm really starting to pull for her. Lauren, I think, is not long for the Survivor world. Patrick is anybody's guess, probably even his. I'm glad to see the heroes pull this one out, but should I dare believe the elusive healers will lose their momentum next week? How do y'all feel about the Healers tribe so far? I must say, I love watching the show and being able to have a global conversation with fellow Survivor fans. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy.
It
All
is
right.
awesome.
Thank you, Mrs. C.
Mm-hmm. It is awesome, the conversations we get to have here.
Yeah, well, you naturally feel like, okay, the healers are due now. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. They've done really well so far.
Well, you got some ingredients for trouble, right? You got Cole and Jessica's Showman's Brewing, which here's power couple that makes them a target. You got the fact that Cole knows Joe has an idol, and now he's going to share that with Jessica more than likely, so there could be tension and drama there.
Well, and Joe could go even more paranoid knowing that Cole has his secret.
Mm-hmm. And he's already said that he needs to get rid of him because of that. Mm-hmm. So said that in episode 2. So there's a lot of, that seems like a little bit of a powder keg that the healers are sitting on there. It could blow this next 3-day cycle, 2-3-day cycle.
Well, as long as they communicate well and all of that, but...
For the challenges, yeah.
Yeah, but some of that tension, if there's tension...
And it's not looking like we're going to get a shuffle this week, right? They're probably going to go one more and shuffle at 15.
Yeah, no, I don't see any
if they
shuffle coming this week at all.
Okay.
Maybe next week, or if not next week, then probably the week after, I would guess. But that's just a guess.
Into 7, 2 tribes of 7, yeah. Okay.
No, I don't know if they'll go into 2 tribes of 7 or just, like I said, do a swap. We'll just wait and see.
There we go. Yeah, I think there's potential for them to lose their focus. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with all these different vectors next week in the next episode. Thanks again, Miss C. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana. And this was a pretty good episode. 2 good episodes right off the bat is a good sign for a season from the initial preview. I didn't think would be that great, but I am happy to say I was completely wrong. Woo! All right. Chrissy is scrambling a lot. She is playing hard, and I love it because I didn't think Chrissy would be that good. I thought she could be good, but, man, she has been hustling. Yeah, I was very impressed with Chrissy, and I hope that her and Ben go far because, Ben's my USB. And I had much better luck on Jezebel this time, so happy about that. Got a vote off right. All right. Joe is much better in this episode. That's so cool that him and Cole teamed up and found the idol, but looks like Cole isn't as dumb as everybody thought, because while we were watching, everybody, I was watching, but was, oh my goodness, why would Cole tell him that? Why wouldn't he just, oh yeah, that is the raft, and then go back to the well later and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, maybe he's not as dumb as you guys think he is. And what's so wrong with helping out a guy? Because then you have another partner. Either way, it's not a bad move to help someone out. Just because it's Survivor doesn't mean you have to be a butt all the time. And didn't see much at Alan, but he wasn't completely losing it, so maybe he's better. I don't know. And Ryan and Devin are probably the highlights of this episode. Those two are spectacular. I'm starting to be a Ryan fan. My initial reaction to Ryan was not very good. I felt like he was trying to be Cochran, but now I'm seeing him, he's different, and Cochran is amazing, but we don't need to see a bunch of different Cochran. And he played really well this episode. You know who didn't? Patrick. Oh my goodness, that guy, I knew he would be a dork, but I didn't know he'd be this bad. He's hilariously bad because he takes nothing seriously. I had Simone as my vote off instead of Patrick, so very happy that Patrick did not go home so I could get a correct vote off. and I just went with the person I went for a vote off last week. So how often does that happen? The person you just are annoyed with and you put down for a vote off again and again and again actually goes home? Like, that never happens. If that would have happened with Abby Maria, I'd be so happy. Or Debbie last season. It would be just spectacular. But unfortunately, it only works with Simone. But, okay, I have to point out something. When Patrick was using the Australian accent, did anybody else catch the little music that they play at the beginning of the Australian Outback theme song all the way back from season 2? I mean, that was a really great touch. And I feel like, that's the kind of stuff they're put out there for those super fans looking and listening for stuff like that. So saying that, probably all of you guys noticed it. But if not, then you're welcome. Wow. Next episode looks interesting. Looks like Cole, smarter than we thought. And, yeah. All right. See you guys next time.
Thanks, Parker. Good job.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't notice that.
I think it was a little bit of didgeridoo, but it was really short. I didn't place it as actually being part of the theme from season 2, though. That's cool. Good catch. Good awareness. Guess who's back? Marla-n-Sarah, that dynamic duo. They finally sent something in. Let's see what's going on with that crew.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor friends. This is Marla.
And this is Sarah.
With our feedback. Hi, everyone. We missed you. We have 3 things to say about the episode, and I'm going to say 2 of them, and then Sarah and I have one together. Number 1 is I had the boldest JSFL ever, which is that I forgot to enter my picks the first week, so I have no USB. But it's probably nice for the people who are on Survivor because I generally jinx anyone by picking them. The second thing is, please, 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 can't they have their bathing suits? And the third thing we need to talk about is Allie's
hair.
Allie's hair. We are obsessed with Allie's hair. Sarah and I both have curly hair. I spent 40 minutes doing my hair yesterday, and then I walked to the train station to go to work, and by the time I got on the train 5 minutes later, my hair was totally out of control. How about you, Sarah?
This morning, I got up, I did my hair, I ate breakfast, and then my hair was crazy again.
Yes. So if you people have curly hair, then you feel us. But Allie has the most perfect, amazing curly hair. We could not stop talking about it during the episode. In fact, I don't even really know what happened in the episode because we were so busy talking about her hair. I think her hair should have its own tribe. If it did, it would win everything. So it could be heroes, hustlers, healers, and hair. So we hope you're all well. We want to thank Joanne and Stacy for all you do, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Great to have you
Thanks,
back.
guys.
The curly hair curse. Good deal.
Yeah, mine's straight as a board, so
Excellent.
no curl for me.
Next up, we got an email from Shannon in Charleston. Hey, Joanne and Stacy. So far, I'm surviving my first year in high school. Congrats. Good deal. Last week, I forgot to do my feedback because I was too busy dealing with Spirit Week and homecoming. We understand. So I'll talk about last week and then this week. Last week, Ryan found the super idol and gave it to Chrissy. She didn't use her idol, and I see why, because she would have a target on her, but now it's perfect to use as a pawn. Their team voted off Katrina, and that is one smart move. Not. Alan needs a chill pill fast. He's going crazy, and it hasn't been 10 days. I can see why Simone got voted out. She has no survival abilities. I started to get even more annoyed when she was complaining about no air conditioning. Pat is starting to annoy Ms. Mom Lauren. I feel that Pat is a wild soul, but he is a great tribe member, and I personally like him. He has a certain energy that I would love on my tribe. I feel it was a bad mistake for Joe to get help from Cole. Now it will turn bad. I think at their first tribal, Joel will call out Sex Dr. Mike. Then Cole will call out Joe, which will then become a big tribal council. Do you think Cole and Jessica might become a showmance, and will it turn back on them if they do? Seems to be headed that way, and yes, I believe it will. Yeah. The last thing on my mind is, how long do you think Mike will last? He's about 40, and I feel his team members will think he's too old. He could also get voted out for saying he knows more about the game than the others because he's been watching it longer. That might make some super fans on his tribe upset. Just a thought. That's all for now, and shout out to my school. Go Warriors. Thanks, Shannon.
I remember thinking my mom was so old when she turned 40.
Yes, ancient.
Not so much anymore.
No, definitely not. Time gives you perspective, that's for sure. Do I think Mike's in trouble because of his age? There was a great video.
Think so.
Yeah, there's a great video, extra video with Mike, and he had labeled himself Dr. Puzzle. So with his performance in the puzzles, which he attributes their win, both cases, their come from behind win, to himself, all right, sounds good. I'm willing to go with that, I guess.
It depends on how much ego. We haven't seen enough to know if his ego is out of check in front of the other people.
We got no indication that that's the case. Based on that, I'm going to say Mike's fine. And they're really happy with Mike and Desi working on the puzzles. They're a great team, and they're getting it done.
Yeah, but, you know, we really hadn't seen enough of Desi, Rourke, and Mike, and even not a whole lot of Jessica yet. But I don't think we know them well enough yet and how they're playing.
Okay. Thanks, Shannon. Next up, we got a call from Drew and Charlie and Adelaide.
Hey, everyone, this is Drew and no, and Kitty, but Milo's not going to say anything. He's just watching. Mommy went for a run, so we're going to do our recording. I thought it was a good episode. It was kind of straightforward, I thought. But anyway, I think Patrick would make me crazy. I feel like I've known people like that in certain situations. So I think his tribe is actually doing pretty well so far, but I'm afraid Lauren's patience is wearing thin, which is understandable. A couple of things. Christy is looking good. Ben is looking good. Joe and Alan are settling down as far as personality. I think I want to say something. I already feel kind of manipulated by the edit, which is weird because I don't usually feel that way about this show, but for some reason I feel more aware of...
I want to see those guys.
What guys? Oh, those. Charlie wants to look at the roster. Hang on. There you go, buddy. Okay, thank you, Paul. Anyway, like I was saying, I don't usually feel that way, but for some reason I feel more aware of what the editors are trying to make me think and feel about these players this season. And then the feedback, including mine, usually just confirms it. So there you go. I mean, it's like they want us to think a certain thing about Alan, and then we do. And then the next week it kind of settles down, and so they want us to feel a different way about him, and then we do, you know? Just something I've observed. Okay, about Tribal Council... I don't know why it's such a blunder for Patrick to say he trusts most of the people in his tribe. I mean, isn't that how everyone feels? I mean, I feel like that's a sentiment that is expressed pretty regularly in Tribal Council. People say, I trust a lot of people, but I don't trust everyone. And why would he trust everyone right now? And there's obviously some people who are, you know, on the outs. And I don't know. It seemed like they made a big deal out of that. They're trying to build some drama around something that wasn't very dramatic. Also, and I mean, of course, hindsight is 20/20 and all, but Julie can vouch for me. I didn't think he was actually in danger for a second. When they walked into Tribal Council, I was like, bye, Simone. It's like it was an obvious vote, but the editors were like, what should we do? Oh, someone uttered Patrick. Quick, build a narrative. There I go again. If it were me, I would have voted out Patrick, though. He's volatile and unpredictable and mostly just really annoying, and those things do not fare well in a tribe situation like this. I mean, isolated from other people and just together all the time, it would just make you nuts. So anyway, of course, I still really liked the episode. It was straightforward, but the challenge was fun, and the players' characters are emerging. And I like that the villainy so far is more about gameplay than actual type of person they are. So see how that plays out. It's kind of fun for me to see sort of dumb guys get played. So that's happening a little bit so far. Winner, I think, and loser of the week is actually Cole. I didn't even realize how big his blunder was until you guys pointed it out. And then I was like, whoops. Yeah, nice. Also, he's just not playing a very smart game already. And I don't know. Guys like him have gone far in the past, but we'll see. All right, everyone have a great weekend. Thanks, you two, for everything you do. And talk to you all later. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Drew. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California.
I was planning on sending some feedback in for the premiere episode, but I didn't get around to doing it, so here are my brief thoughts on that before going into the recent episode. I found the Super Idol to be a great twist right out of the gate and was hoping to see it play out, but alas, it didn't, and I was not too surprised to see Katrina go out first. As for this past episode, I feel like Chrissy was smart to keep the idol as a fake to fool someone with it. It would be kind of deja vu for Ryan if Chrissy gives it back to him only for Ryan to get voted out with it. I don't see it happening, though. The way the idol clues are hidden is quite something. They are not easily noticeable, and someone could walk right past it without knowing it's there. It was cool to see the puzzle was past Survivor locations and a nice tribute to all the past seasons of the show. At Tribal, Patrick made a goof, and he will probably pay for saying he trusts most of the tribe. If they end up back at Tribal before a flip, my prediction is that he would be next. I can sort of understand the annoyance factor that he causes at camp, and I would have probably voted him out instead of Simone. He is great entertainment, though, with all of the crab craziness we saw. Speaking of Simone, I had her as my vote out for the premiere episode, but not for this one because of what was said during the recap and listener feedback from everyone last episode. We didn't see a lot of her during the episode, and that's why I thought she would have gone further. As for next week, the hidden idol reveal could cause problems, and my prediction as to who may possibly be next out depends on who may go to Tribal. If the heroes go back to Tribal, then Alan. If it's the Hustlers, then Patrick. Looking forward to next week. All right, thanks, Jack.
Yeah, since Jack and Drew both mentioned it, let's talk for a second about Patrick and why that seemed to be a blunder. I didn't see it so much because of what he said. I'm with Drew that that particular topic gets brought up a lot. It's how he managed it after he said it that I thought didn't go well for him.
Yeah, well,
that laughing, maybe it was nervous laughter, but it looked like him.
And getting embarrassed and the whole...
To me, it looked like him laughing and gloating at the same time. I read it a little different, and that's why I didn't see it as going well for him.
Well, I stick with what I said in the recap show, which was he could have easily covered that by saying, well, Jeff, I'm sorry, but there's definitely one person that I don't particularly trust.
The flip side is you just say that I trust my alliance. That's the easy way you do it, and
well,
you don't have to get into the specifics.
Well, but you point the finger that kind of shoots the attention back over to who they all knew was going home.
Or you may not know who his alliance is.
That's true.
So I think that leaves it with some uncertainty. And I just thought he fumbled it. He made it worse. Anyway, that's my take on it.
Yeah, I think somebody could have said that and it would have just rolled right over, but they just chose that.
The way he goofed it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How he handled it afterwards, I guess, is the thing that probably did more damage than not. Thanks again, Jack. Next up, we got a call from Kenny.
Hey, guys, it's Kenny from Dallas. Well, Joe and Cole, classic interpersonal dynamic in which Cole wants to be, I guess, friends with the popular kid or wants to be approved. There is no reason. I completely agree with you. There is no reason Cole had to share where he thought the hidden immunity idol was. And the smart play for him, now that Joe has it, is not to tell Joe that he maybe should play his immunity idol just to vote his push out. Just blindside him in the next tribal council and get him out. Don't tell him, he may be on the ropes where he plays his idol. Don't tell him. Tell him someone else is at risk if they go to tribal council and get him out. Maybe that way Cole can redeem himself. I completely also agree with you that Allie is playing really smartly, has situational awareness. I think she knows this game, and Ryan is also getting a favorable at it. Aside from that, I'm not sure about the other people who have been on this season. Patrick completely gets on my nerves. He needs to go. He's one of the more irritating people we've had in a long time. He serves no purpose. He's not comic relief. He is depressing unrelief. He needs to go. And it makes me think that this season they may have more recruits than previous season. I don't know how many savvy players they really have on the season. Certainly Simone. I know she was depressed, I guess Trump won, but she could have found another outlet, maybe gone on her own survival voyage. But people like her and Patrick and at least half the others, I think, Alan, have no idea about Survivor, would be better off doing something else. I guess Jeff has alluded to the fact that the finale is pretty exciting. I hope it is, because this season to me is pretty much ho-hum. It's not bad, don't get me wrong. It's not bad, not great. Which leads me to believe we need to have true fans participate in Survivor. And Stacey, I wonder if you ever thought, you know Survivor really well, if you thought about going on. You have survival skills apparently, you have game awareness. I think it would be pretty good for you to go. In the meantime, how does hockey not simulate Survivor? Usually it does. In this case, it doesn't. By the way, last night at the Stars game, Las Vegas had their inaugural game. It was in Dallas last night, their hockey game. And before the national anthem, the Dallas Stars players lined up behind the Vegas Golden Knights players, which is a nice symbol of solidarity after the tragedy in Las Vegas earlier this week. But how Survivor is not like hockey, or hockey is not like Survivor. The Stars lost last night. They're one of the favorites to win it all, the Stanley Cup. Vegas is their first game ever, and the Stars found a way to lose. I think that is unlike Survivor because there is no way in heck clowns like Alan or Patrick can win this game. I don't think we're having a Fabio-type edit for Patrick. He needs to go. So I think, in hockey, anything can happen in Survivor. We'd be completely and utterly stunned if the Allens or the Patricks won. Stacey, I hope you're submitting your video to Survivor. I'd love to see you play. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, Kenny. Yeah, you'd have to have a whole tribe of goofballs for someone like Patrick and Alan to seem to have a chance. That's my first thought. So I've applied many times. I enjoy the process. I got pneumonia after pushing too hard with triathlons and ultra runs and stuff back in 2013.
And injured your foot.
Oh, yeah, and injured my foot. So I had all that happen, and I was pushing too hard, and then my health overall got a little worse. So I haven't gotten that back under control yet. So it's been several years.
At
so I haven't applied.
Finally admitted you pushed.
I admitted I pushed too much after I got pneumonia. That was intense. That was way more than I was interested in. That hurt quite a bit.
Yep.
So,
I know. I've had it many times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So I haven't gotten back on that train yet, but I've definitely been thinking about it lately. So thank you for that. Appreciate your support. Next up, we got a call from that Peace Bear, Brandon. Let's see what's going on with him this week.
What up, though? Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans, is Brandon from Cleveland. I'm on my way home right now from the library. This last episode, it was I don't want to say it was a good episode. I think Survivor is just so good now that even a subpar episode is a great episode of TV. So it wasn't boring by any means, but, just nothing super exciting. I think it's just building up the story for later in the season. So I forgot to put my picks in for last week, but I haven't listened to the recap yet, so I haven't heard Joanne run down the scores, but I believe I still should have 4 points because I think I had all the big guys safe last week, and so if it would have ran over, that's this week. Obviously, Simone went, so I didn't have too much to worry about. But it's wasted picks on some guys that I would have liked to save for later on down the line. So I'll make sure I get my picks in this week. That way I don't have to run into that problem again. But I'm just excited to see what happens next episode. I'm really liking Allie. I'm really liking the Healers tribe as a whole. Joe is delivering great TV right now. We'll see where my USB Chrissy, where she picks up. Hopefully she has something really good with Ben. And, so that's my thoughts for this week. I'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.
All right, a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you very much. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, I've been on vacation, but I did find time to watch the show and make a few observations.
Good job.
I'm not sure whether to praise Cole's skills for guiding clueless Joe to an idol and obliterating the clue, or criticize him for cluelessly guiding Joe to an idol and obliterating his own game. Ben likened his tribe to old cracked paint. Maybe a fresh coat of paint via a swap will spruce things up for him. Simone noticed that there's no AC in the outdoors. Thanks, Captain Obvious. I think they created new dingbat music for Jessica's attempt at spearfishing. That was, we didn't really point that out, but that little recorder tune that they played while she was fishing, that was awesome. New dingbat music. I like that, Josh. Joe running along the path reminded me of Tony, sans the maniacal yodeling. Chrissy's search for a partner played out like Goldilocks and the Four Bears. JP's too dumb, Ashley's too untrustworthy, Alan's too unstable, Ben is just right. Note to Simone, sometimes you're the dumper, sometimes you're the dumped. Patrick is a big, loud, goofy kid. Allie is woefully underpaid babysitter. That's a good one. I like that. Tapping out feedback on a phone with hooves is not for the faint of heart. Goofy mover Patrick is working hard to move himself off the island. The sign puzzle reminded me of the signpost from MASH. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Mm-hmm. The producers have their metaphors mixed up. A snake twined around a stick is a classic symbol for a healer, not a hustler.
Nice catch.
The choice between voting off Patrick or Simone. Unstable versus useless. Goofy versus scary. I love the tribal bad birthday party analogy. Jeff even makes them play the Survivor version of Pin the Tail on the Donkey. That's all I have for now. Thanks, Joanna and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. And thank you, Josh. Awesome. Next up, we got a call from Rhonda. She's just not feeling it.
Hi, Joanna and Stacy. Hi, everyone. It's Rhonda from Portland. So I'm just not into it this season yet. I watched the show, but at the same time I was on my phone and barely paying attention. Someone named Simone went home. Don't even care, really. She got at a fish, and that was cool. And she was really cute, but I didn't know anything about her, so I don't know. There's someone on the show named Patrick who's very annoying. My husband's name is Patrick, and he's also very annoying, but he doesn't have red hair. You know who does have red hair, though, is my niece, Sarah from Jamul, and it's her birthday today, so let's all wish Sarah from Jamul a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Sarah. I love you, and you're one of my favorite nieces ever, and I say that because my other niece is listening. Okay, so I don't know what's happening next week. Someone will be voted out. That's my prediction. Someone will win an immunity challenge, and someone will probably catch a fish. Speaking of fish, I kind of like the commercial fisher lady. What's her name? Lauren? I like her because she's annoyed by Patrick, and I like people who are annoyed by people named Patrick. That, I think, is all I have. So I will talk to you all next week. Happy birthday, Sarah, again. Bye-bye.
All right, Rhonda, making those connections, real life to the game. Very nice. Good job, Rhonda. You wackadoodle. Oh, let's see what's going on with Rashmi. She's not happy, but she's got a different reason.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all my Survivor friends. This episode is finally over, and I'm really not impressed with it. I was quite sad to see Simone being targeted and she was sent off. You know, in the last 5 seasons alone, we've seen 7 Asian women: Shireen, PG, So, Rachel, Lucy, Mari, Simone, has not made the merge. And I don't feel there is a conspiracy, but I'm just pointing out that how sad it is that the persons that they select is just because they look different. For example, this time, I think Patrick was really annoying and the perfect person to go. He was is a total buffoon. And even Ryan, though, you know, he can be, the way they're showing he's endearing or whatever, can be very, awkward. But hey, they had to get Simone off because I read somewhere, and that is so terrible what I read, that in US, the stereotype of an Asian lady is that she's very cunning and crafty. Gosh, I'm just not happy with this episode, and I think I'll end off on that. Thanks, and bye.
All right. Sorry you're not enjoying that part of it. Rashmi, I'm going to circle back like I was talking about at the beginning. It's a casting thing. I want better representatives in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
When I think back,
more suited to Survivor.
Yeah, and on the flip side of what you're talking about, intellectualism is vilified frequently in the culture here, and you can even go back and see it in All Stars. Right? They got rid of Sesternino because he was viewed as smart. Mm-hmm. Right? That's Boston Rob wanted to get rid of the smart guy. I've grown up with that view of, oh, you're educated and somehow it's a bad thing. I was picking up on that when I was a kid because around 6th grade I got really interested in getting good grades and studying and stuff like that. But it would be viewed as some negative trait for me, or it caused you to get singled out. And you'll hear them on the shows, that brainiac, we got to get rid of that brainiac. We don't want them to have an advantage. So, there's all kinds of reasons people get targeted. Simone was not suited for this show. I don't know why they cast her, and I'm just looking at that, and that's my assessment. So I'm not surprised that she's gone. Anyone who felt comfortable making comments about there being no AC outdoors, not being comfortable outdoors, had no business ever being there.
Well, and that she was so frightened that she went out there knowing she was afraid of everything. I think it was brave that she wanted to try, and she did do
She
some
was
new
facing
things.
her fears, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Taking
I
on
get
new
that,
challenges.
but she's so terrified. I don't think she would have lasted.
She didn't have any capacity to actually play the game because everything she had was just
everything was just too much of a shock
on
to her
dealing with all
system.
that. Yeah, she didn't make the connection she needed to last longer than a buffoon like Patrick. Okay, thanks, Rashmi. Next up, it's the birthday girl.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
Happy birthday, Sarah. We've got email from Sarah in Jamul, California.
Hi, Joanne, Stacy, and all of the Survivor superfans. I apologize in advance for this week's Castaway poem being, well, less than complimentary. In my defense, the girl did say like every other word in her pregame interviews and didn't seem to have much of a story or contribution during her short time in the game. Without further ado, here is one I've titled Simone Who? S is for second, as in voted off the show. I is for interesting. She wasn't really, though. M is for mistaken. On the puzzle, she had no clue. O is for ocean. That's where she took a poo. N is for nothing, 'cause it seems that's all she did. E is for exit. Bye-bye, you whiny kid.
That's awesome. Good job.
Thanks for all you do. Your podcasts are a welcome break from my crazy work/school schedule. I'm looking forward to everyone else's thoughts. Have a great week. All right, thanks, Sarah, and have a happy birthday.
Good job, birthday girl. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. Hello, Survivor fans. Hey, it's Jeremiah from SoCal. Yeah, I missed out on sending some feedback last week, so I wanted to try to get a few thoughts in this week. So far, I'm really enjoying this season. I think that this cast still looks very promising. Haven't changed my mind too much about a lot of players. A little disappointed in the lack of time for Desi. I thought we would see a lot more from her. But outside of that, overall, I think it's turning out kind of what I expected. So I'm just enjoying it, and I'm excited to see what happens here coming up soon. Obviously, early on, things look very bright for our superfan Ryan, which I think a lot of us were hoping he would do well. He's getting a lot of airtime. Not quite sure what that means. I've actually got a new category for things like this. I'm wondering, is Ryan in the category of tie, or if he's a category of Tony Velacio's? And what that means is Ty, of course, got a lot of airtime and never won. But then again, Tony Velacio's got a lot of airtime and he did win. So the question is, how did Ryan finish? Is he going to be a Ty, or is he going to be a Tony? So obviously Ryan goes pretty far and does well, I think, but I don't know how well he does. But I certainly am enjoying watching him. He's definitely probably the favorite so far this season. But yeah, a lot of good things going on. Wondering if Allie and Ryan all them made the right decision about not giving Patrick now. Obviously the commercials make you seem that maybe Patrick's still in trouble next week. We'll see how that plays out. Have no idea who's going to go home next week, but that should be interesting to see how that plays out. And obviously it looks like Chrissy might be okay now on her side of the tribe. That should be interesting to see how that develops. And speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and close out my feedback with a few comments. Stacy, I took a lot of time trying to figure out who you were going to pick for USB, because one of my new strategies is on our side challenge is to make sure I have the same USB as you, so that way we're on the equal level. Well, you went on and on so much about Chrissy that even though I won an Allie because she was my winner pick, I went ahead and went with Chrissy because I did like Chrissy a lot as well. And here I come to find out you went with Allie. I can't believe it. So now we don't have the same USB. But you know what? I'm wondering, maybe I might be okay. Chrissy's getting a lot of airtime as well. She looks like she might be in okay shape. So who knows? We'll see. But I was definitely nervous after the first episode. Good grief. All right, well, hopefully this pans out for me. Maybe in the end you'll regret not taking Chrissy. All right, well, that's it for me. Obviously, I want to win, so. All right, well, you guys take care. And until next time, this is Jeremiah from SoCal.
I liked your little story. Very funny. Next up, we got an email from Jen in California. Hi, everyone. I'm out of town for a family wedding in the Temecula wine country, which is beautiful, but has left me with little time alone to record feedback. So email's the best I can do as I sit here typing in a car full of people. Oh my gosh, Cole, a little white lie could have been the difference between you having the hidden immunity idol and someone else having it. I'm not a deceitful person, but telling Joel, yes, I think it's the raft, would have flown right out of my mouth. At least it would have bought me some time to try to find the idol by myself for a bit, and Joe would have been thrown off track for a bit. Time will tell how that decision will affect his game, but he is smart to want to target Joe now. Hopefully he'll get Joe before Joe gets him. I like the dynamics of the Hustlers tribe. They seem like genuine what you see is what you get type people who understand that Survivor's fundamentally a game and the personal dynamics are all part of that. There didn't seem to be any animosity at Tribal Council, and I enjoyed that. Well, that's it for me this week. I'm distracted by the scenery, so I got nothing else for you. Head back to camp, and I'll talk to you all next week. Cheers. Thanks, Jen. Thanks for making that work, too.
Have a fun weekend.
Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here, and I'm thinking that a better title for this episode would have been Getting to Know You. Sure, it wasn't said by anyone, but that's what happened, and why it was such a great episode to me. The lack of a reward challenge let us see exactly how people meshed, and more importantly, how they didn't. I'm feeling better and better about my USB Ryan, but Devin is underwhelming me quite a bit. He's got the required strength and stamina, but there's a lack of personality to me. Maybe it's just that goofy grin that's always on his face that's throwing me off, but this guy is perfect for Ryan to latch on to. It's like the JT and Steven team up, but in this case I feel that Ryan has a far better hand. Devin just seems to be a tad unaware to me, and he needs Ryan more than Ryan needs him. And then there's Allie, who I honestly didn't think much of before this season began, but who I'm loving more and more. It was plain to see that Allie saved Patrick, but I wonder where this puts Lauren on the tribe. Will Patrick's silliness rub her so far out of shape that she gets booted off her tribe before him? In my experience, the constant complainer becomes the squeaky wheel that needs to be taken care of. I do believe that Allie is going to go deep in this game, but I also think that Patrick is going to be her GOAT. I'm also pretty sure that Allie knew this as soon as she saw that they were on the same team. Now, as for Simone's vote-off, well, Reddit is filled with posts about it being a race thing, but I think it's more a gender issue. As I said last week, women tend to walk into the game with a disadvantage, and any woman over 35 starts with 3 strikes against her. Once they head to Tribal Council, look out. In Simone's case, the fact that she was so aloof and distant from other people in her tribe, well, that pretty much sealed her fate. When you pit a pretty, dainty loner against a brash but fit young man, well, the man is going to win. It isn't fair, but that's the way Survivor almost exclusively plays it out. I like that Simone spoke up in the end, but it was just too late. All I remember from her in her first episode was her walking away from her tribe rather than connecting. Always walk towards, not away. So, will Joe's idol be the end of him? I'm hoping so, but I think in the end Jessica will be the target on that tribe because of her friendliness with Cole and because of the fact that she's a woman who doesn't have as much strength as Joe. Don't get me wrong, though. I would love to see Joe go because he flat out rubs me the wrong way in almost everything he does. There's an arrogance about him that I just can't handle. Maybe poor Cole, who spoke without thinking, can rectify this situation that he's created. Let's hope so. On the heroes, I still think that Alan is very much in trouble, but only because Chrissy seems to be outmaneuvering him. Again, for the reasons I've already stated, I wouldn't be surprised to see Chrissy go before Alan. Once the tribes get mixed up, team numbers will become the focal point rather than team strength. But I think that mix-up won't happen until we go to one more tribal. Next to go? Well, I don't know. I need to see what the challenge will be. This is so hard with 3 teams. I mean, I love the nervous anxiety that I feel when I'm trying to make my picks, but I hate it also. Still, I won't give it up. Lastly, please don't make picks based on what I say. I have no clue what I'm doing. Okay then, everyone take care. Bye.
None of us do, Paul.
No, don't go by what he says. Go by the roster, right? The recurrent neural network that Paul's developed that he uses on the roster is saying Rourke's next to go. So, yeah, I think there we go. I had forgotten that earlier when we had that question about the healers.
Truthfully, even though she's the one I picked to go first off that tribe, I don't think she's on anybody's radar that we've
doesn't
seen.
seem to be.
So
Yeah.
I'm thinking probably the not.
Probably the not.
The
okay.
not. She's not.
Not going at this point, you're saying. Okay.
I don't think so.
Other fish to fry. It's other people who are
And
busy.
I like her better than I thought I would, too.
Other people busy being drama engines, churning out
Yep.
extra crap that everyone has to deal with. Yeah, I'm liking the season so far. Definitely enjoying it.
I would love to see everybody gather around and blindside Joe by telling him, yeah, we sending Dr. Mike home.
I'm not sure that Cole and Jessica can actually pull that off.
Yeah, I don't know if they can stay focused.
They would need additional help, and they're gonna basically shine a spotlight on themselves. Nobody wants to see a couple like that this early in the game.
So
right?
is anybody going to help them? Are they going to keep Joe around, and get rid of and split up the couple early?
So if I had to guess, I'd say how the story's been developing, like Drew was saying, the narrative that's been shared with us so far is that Joe went out of his way to make an enemy of Mike. So if they can make a connection with Mike, and Mike can pull Desi in and have a discussion with Rourke, then yeah, I think they could pull something like that off. It just seems unlikely. They may be in the process of self-destructing.
Maybe, or they may not go to tribal council at all.
That's true.
Before a swap.
Dr. Puzzle could swoop in and take care of that problem.
So, all right.
We want to say thank you to everybody who took time to send in their thoughts and predictions for us to enjoy this week. Big thanks to Christy and Catherine for your subscription donation. Thank you so much for helping us deal with the expenses of the show. We greatly appreciate your support. We also want to say a thank you to Mojo Ben for your review on iTunes. And, that's who was having trouble with the acronyms, right? They mentioned
USB,
that.
JSFL, that.
So there's, for the Fantasy League related acronyms that we talk about, there is an explanation, but we'll go ahead and explain them here too, since it's an audible podcast. But there's a link to the rules, and you can go in and look at all that stuff if you forget at some point. And you can find that off the website, getsfp.com. So USB, Ultimate Survivor Bonus, that's a big 24-point bonus you can get in the Fantasy League if you somehow manage to guess, and people do it every season, you somehow manage to guess who the winner is before the season even started, and we've seen the first episode. So it's just a pure luck, just like a lot of the Survivor winners and Soul Survivors. They get there based on a lot of luck. And some of the folks that end up winning the JSFL, which was initially, we called the podcast the Joanne and Stacy Show. And so it was a Joanne and Stacy Show Fantasy League, JSFL, right?
Joanne and Stacy Fantasy League.
So that's a quick explanation of those two acronyms, and there are others.
Which is probably the ones we use most of.
Yeah, and we talk about MOVs, Mom on Vacations, and then recently had some discussions about Dad on Vacation, so some DOVs.
That's a new one coming in, I guess.
Yeah, hadn't seen so much of that, but certainly there's the potential for that.
And if you're playing JSFL, don't forget, get your picks in before the deadline of 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Wednesday.
Yeah, and once you get your picks in, you can just cool your jets like BrandonA did and let those picks roll. Good job there, young man. Just take
unless you lose
those
the
safe
safe
points.
point, you might want to remember to change that.
Well, he's fine. He's got the big gun targets out there for the males, and so I think he's got a great strategy. Just let it ride. Just don't do it 3 times in a row. It'll drop you from the JSFL. There is a catch.
Yes.
There's a safety net, but it only works a couple times.
If you don't make picks 3 weeks consecutively, it will assume you're no longer
You've decided
playing,
not to play,
and it will just delete you.
There you go. Anything else you want to say as we wrap up and bid a fond farewell to episode 2?
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
It's good.
And I'm still anxious to see what happens next week. Looking forward to it.
Like Drew was talking about, I think the editors have made us feel that things are progressing as they should.
And I want to get to know some of the other people better.
Mm-hmm. So you want another week with a combo immunity reward challenge, so you get a little more of the social dynamics in each tribe.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Mm-hmm. I think that'll probably happen, right? They usually stick with that for a little while, so you can get a little more of the social, because that's the big thing. If you haven't learned it yet, it's the social game, not the survival game, not the being outdoors game, not even the challenges component. It's all about the social aspect of dealing with these folks on the show to get to be Soul Survivor.
And yet the others are factors, but...
Can be. Don't have to be. There's plenty of people who lack in other areas. We've seen this, and they've won the game by having a really solid social game. Making a connection on that personal level that ends up being the most important thing come the day 39. Okay, anything else to add?
Nope. See y'all back here on Wednesday.
That's right. Have a good one.